Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we are picking up where we left off. It appeared that the video cut off. So we are going to finish and pick up where we left off from a previous video from a very interesting and important viewer question was, does the psychopath, do they miss me? Do they feel a sense of loyalty? Will they kind of come back to me? And especially as the way that I feel for them, because, you know, oftentimes when you're in a relationship with these individuals, it feels like the perfect fit. It feels like everything logically is saying this relationship has the potential to be perfect. Like, what is wrong with you? You know, I mean, like, you are losing a good thing here. Why would you let this go? So that, of course, is the feeling. That is the conundrum. That is the confusion. That is the con game. So we are going to zoom in and focus in on that psychopathic confidence, the con game, and how it affects you and whether it is that they will truly miss you. But before we get started, once again, I want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have actually donated to the channel. Thank you so much for your contributions. It's really input from viewers like you who keep the channel alive, who make it worthwhile for me to know that we are really hitting home. We want to hit this out of the park. We want you to have results. I'm so glad that you found a resource of tools and knowledge and wisdom here, as well as the community. And it really delights me to see the comments and hear from you and to see the support of each other, because you do need to be able to collaborate and connect with others who have been through it. It's not everybody every day who has, you know, brushed shoulders with a con man, a con woman, a psychopath, someone with this sort of connection and confidence with others and yet have no ability to experience feelings. It's very difficult to describe the experience to others if they have not, you know, been in your shoes. So they just don't get it. They might, you know, just tell you to brush it off and just like move on. You know, why don't you, you know, it was an affair. It lasted a long time. Like, let's just go out for drinks and like, let's just move on. Like, let's just do this and this, you know, we'll get your power back. It's not that easy. You know, it's not as easy as going to the bar and having, you know, a couple good nights and then, you know, feeling like, hey, I'm back in the game. It's not enough just to say, you know, oh, you know, this happened to me and, you know, I'm just going to move on like nothing happened. It takes some process time. It takes some healing. It takes actually some recovery, just like a, you know, profound wound, a deep wound. It's a wound of the psyche, and it's very difficult to comprehend. Once again, like so many viewers state, it's so difficult to comprehend because on the outside, this person appears completely normal. They don't appear disordered. They don't appear to have a mental illness. They don't appear to have any sort of aberration. In fact, quite to the contrary, they can be extremely good looking, extremely intelligent, extremely competent or confident in relationships, yet their fluency in emotion, you know, completely takes you by surprise, because it is their ability to put on an act, a persona, an inauthentic self, which oftentimes is highly difficult to detect, even through, you know, like Dr. Robert Hare says, he was pulled in and allured by extremely quote unquote good psychopathic individuals. In other words, they can be more human than human. They can appear to have more humanity than the most caring person. But the problem is that there's a huge, you know, separation, you know, separation as well, a severing between what you see on the outside and who that person authentically is on the inside. As we were saying, you know, and to answer the question, does the psychopath miss me? And the answer is unequivocally no. Dr. Martha Stout, The Sociopath Next Door, an excellent book, you know, you will get to know through her research and her studies and her case studies, as well as, you know, testifying to this through the number of these types of individuals who I have dealt with individually myself. they do not feel or experience emotions. They just do not. Even though they appear to, they take on a what Dr. Martha Stout calls a fluency of emotion. And some people might call this glib or superficial. They have a fluency of emotion where it appears they have emotion. They have the appearance of, feeling for something, the appearance of falling in love, the psychopathic stare where they just kind of gaze absent-mindedly into you and then, just kind of scope you out and then make adjustments, and they'll have these profoundly charming moments with you, or profoundly what appears to or feels to be intimacy with you, like nothing can come between you and this person in the world, and then, it appears that this is perfect, a glove fit. And so it's, it is the appearance of, so in other words, it's like meeting someone who is bilingual and they can speak Spanish better than you, even though that's your native tongue. It is because of their ability to perceive and study others in a different manner than most people would be observant. In other words, they attend to and they scope out and observe different human emotions, body language, language patterns, and they're able to see, quote unquote, what people feel for or what they fall for or what they want to hear or what they want to feel, and then they deliver this. Even though they do not feel it, they deliver, with a big red bow, on a package on your doorstep, the most perfect gift, the most perfect evening, the most perfect thing that you want to hear. Right, especially in the beginning, we call this the love bombing phase. Even for those people with whom they want something for, in other words, the parasitic lifestyle, the place to live, a surrogate parent for their children, a business partner, whatever it is that they want, they will put on this fluency of emotion in order to keep you there because they are getting something out of it. And then the people who, feel that they thrive on giving, in other words, I love providing for you. They're capitalizing on a man's ability to provide. In other words, they might think, well, to be a man, I have to be a provider. I have to be a builder. I have to be this and this. And so the female psychopath will tap into and exploit that. So it's like, yes, you can get the door. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do that. And they let you be the man's man, But when you realize that it's all just designed to have you eating out of their hand, and then you learn that they quickly take your power away or, stab you in the back through, character assassination or trying to ruin you and hurt you and really break your heart, you will realize that indeed these people do not experience feelings and emotions. So they do not miss people. They do not become attached the way that you oh, that was fun, let's keep this going. They don't have that feeling. They do not experience this. So it can have very profound effects when people, that's why it's so difficult for them to comprehend and move on. It's that they can't quite comprehend, they can't get their brain around it. The fact that this is like a perfect fit. We got along famously. We had the most excellent vacation, the most great weekend. We had wonderful dinners, whatever it is, Snapchats, texting, pictures. We did this. This is all what someone who is truly intimate is about. And this is what intimacy is. It is to realize that this person was actually studying you with fascination, that they were not feeling these things. They were not feeling the bonding of having a cup of coffee. They were not experiencing the feeling of, cuddling on a sofa with a fuzzy blanket and some hot chocolate and watching your favorite movies. They were not experiencing, those mornings in bed watching the game or having mimosas in bed or having a bubble bath with you or loving you in the shower or whatever it is that you felt like this was really heart to heart. They were doing this in an asexual way. In other words, they do not feel that closeness. To them, it is just like getting a toaster. And, like I need this to cook my toast. Like I want to have toast in the morning. I don't want to put it in the oven. That would be ineffective use of energy. So I'm going to get a toaster. I like my English muffins toasted. I like them buttered, warm. So I'm going to get me a toaster. So it's very much the same learning or muscle memory or acquisition of people in their life in that very same manner. I want toast. I want someone in a business partner. I want to appear like I'm the organizational chum. I want to appear like I am this and this. But the thing is that they can then mimic your emotions after this study, which people, they are more observant and more absorbative of things. In other words, they see people holding hands and they're like, okay, I'm going to model myself after that. If they see something horrific, they don't feel, oh my God, like I hope everybody's okay. They're more fascinated and drawn in the guts of it, and the fact that like somebody, that was cool that somebody took somebody over. Like what a smart shooter, like what a smart business robber, or like they tend to look that way with like good shot, man, when you just, overtook an economy. Like they're like more, that, you are that good. So they have a whole different reflection experience of events than most people. So it's not so much, it's what they do that makes them dangerous, but also what makes them dangerous is the fact that they don't stand out from the crowd as a disordered individual. They don't, they might tell you, oh, I miss you. Oh, but yet their actions when it comes around to things like Easter, like holidays you'd want to spend with them, and they show no interest, or they're not in the joy of it. They're really truly not, they're not there. So they might pretend to be there, but it's very empty. And when you see the veil drop, when you see the mask drop, you will unequivocally know beyond a shadow of a doubt the energy has changed in the room, the energy has changed in the elevator has changed in the bathroom, wherever it is you see it drop. You will unequivocally know you are not dealing with a kind-hearted individual, and that they are capable of really deterring people and hurting them to the most profound level. I mean, to the point where oftentimes it's like they're, to the point of no return, no recovery. So they, do not then give them the attachment with which they cannot give you. Viewers have said you can't throw your pearls at swine, or, something of that nature. You cannot give the energy of attachment to someone who cannot give it back. In other words, there is no reciprocity. Period. End of story. They might appear to, but they, again, it is the appearance. And again, it is the illusion. A lot of viewers like to use that example. It was an illusion, and absolutely unequivocally it is. It's like a poof. Poof, they're gone. And, you cannot be fooled. And the betrayal hurts so much because you really feel like the love energy that you gave was not duplicated on the earth plane. You kind of feel like it went into some sort of other astral plane or some other dimension with which it was used against you. So that's part of the problem, and the missing piece is to understand, furthermore, that then you are then prohibited then from being able to share your experience with others and just be like, OMG, what the F just happened? What the hell? You can't then, you're deprived of the experience of being able to share with others. Like oftentimes these people want to keep you separated. They want to use their pecking order and keep the sheep away from the herd. They want to isolate you a little bit in order to get you where they want you. And a lot of people think, ooh, well, that's stimulating. They've got me where they want me. Like this is like exciting. So there's like that thrill moment that you like look forward to. But when you realize that this was just a shell, it was a sham, it's not at all humane or human or feeling of experiencing these emotions. And this makes them dangerous because then you feel like you've fallen into a trap door, in an abyss. Like if you've ever seen, like in the movies, national treasure, instead of going after that treasure, you kind of feel like you were walking along this maze and you're like going up the stairs, and all of a sudden it falls out, and then what appeared to be a golden gilded palace turns out to be, like hot and, toxic sludge, which you've just been fooled and duped into, and you thought you were going to the gilded palace, when in fact you're going someplace else, which was not on the map. You're like, I feel totally lost. And not only do you feel lost, you feel that you don't have the skills or the tools to get out. So you have this I am lost feeling, depersonalized feeling, like I don't even feel human. My hair doesn't feel like hair. My skin doesn't feel like skin. I don't feel like my humanness is about me, because this has been siphoned off while you're in a relationship. So when I talk about how dangerous it is, it is not funny. This is a very, 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 I'm going to say it again, very, 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 very serious matter. It's not that you just take it lightly and just like, oh my God, some viewers say, well, this is funny when you dupe and deceive them. No, it's not. It's not funny. It is not amusing. It should not be for your amusement. You just unequivocally, you don't know what you're dealing with. And nor should you want to find out. Like, I can guarantee that. Like, you do not want to see what's behind the curtain. You don't want to see what's behind door number 3. You don't want to go there. In fact, you want to just get out. You want to get it out of your system and restore yourself to a sense of humanity, feeling, experience those emotions. So that's why I talk about how important it is for you to take yourself, even if you don't feel good, you're feeling sick, you're feeling lost, you're feeling dismayed, you're feeling like you're no longer human. The humanness part of you has been kind of like siphoned off into this other place upon, the point of no return. And you can't even discuss it about people, with people. Like, that's part of the detriment, is where you feel kind of like you've lost this part of your life, and it's, give your arm and your leg for this person. You feel like you gave like a piece of your soul, but I want to give you unequivocally good news is that your soul will rebuild. Your soul will regrow. It's like if you've ever seen, what is it? Like, what organ do you have that will like grow back? Like, if you were to take part of it off, it'll regenerate. Maybe the liver has this function. So your soul, your humanness, your love, your passion, your I am will become restored. But you need to kind of get the process going through all the tools that we discuss here on the channel. You need to stop, the gawking. You need to stop the gaper's block. And you need to get back to the I am. You need to focus on you. I understand how important it is for you to learn about these individuals, and what happened, who they are, their composite, etc. But now you really, really need to work on you. Stop the missing of them. Stop this from taking over your life, because you're literally burning off your soul flame to this. And your soul's flame is to be ignited and expansive. In other words, it's burning strong. It's burning bright for you. It will, cast the way. Your soul will cast the way before you once you really kind of embrace it and you get it before you. So you need to kind of like put that in focus for it to light the way. And perhaps this individual was the darkness that had showed you the light. It's like putting the torch back in your hand, like a relay race. They're passing you the baton, and it was very dark, but the baton actually took flame while it was back in your hands. That is the recovery. It's going like, whoa, like I was holding on the cliff of despair. I was about to tumble into that abyss of toxic green gunk, that I don't know how to get out of. So I am holding on for dear life. So it is very serious. When you talk about restoring your psychological well-being, guys and gals, like, this is serious, and if you don't have the tools, that's pretty scary. To not know how to restore yourself, get yourself back, feeling okay, being able to leave your house, being able to be like, I can't believe I did that, the PTSD, all the, prisoners of war, all the people who have, gone to battle in Vietnam or wherever, and they're like, I can't believe I suffered through this. And like, they're in such what they used to call shell shock, which is now we call PTSD and complex PTSD. I can't believe that I did this. Like, there is this total period of shock. Like, unbeknownst to me, I was way off track. My life was like engaged with this a lot of people call it evil energy. And if you want to call it that, you can put a label on it, but let's just call it, out of this, out of your world toxic. Like, in other words, it has the ability to cause profound harm and despair. And that is their intention. See, they know this. And so, it is a pre-calculated, premeditated, and understood effect that how deep they get in with you is how deep and profound your hurt is. So how they manipulate you. So the body language, the reconvoluting, the confusing of emotional connection to them. In other words, they use the double language, the double speak. In other words, to, their big bicep, might not just be a bicep. It's like they make it into the rock of your life. I mean, they will convolute and twist the meaning that you have in your relationship into representing and distorting that which is truly representative within you, so that you are then aroused by this distortion, and you are aroused by this confusion. You are aroused by the con, yet you don't realize it is a con. They don't look like a con person. Back in the day, you might have thought, well, a con person drives around in a van and they look like this and they pick up kids or they do this to other people, but they wouldn't get me. I'm not the type of person that they would go after. Okay, now you have real life experience to testify to the contrary. And we have a lot of viewers who it's like, this is their parents, this is their mother, this is their father, this is their sibling, and it is their, their kin. And so this becomes doubly confusing because, it's supposed to be blood is thicker than water, so you have this whole, societal pressure and stigma, and then, you're sharing DNA with these people, in that, yeah, this is supposed to be your caregiver, this is supposed to be, your inner circle, and then how confusing it is. Were you married into this? So you unequivocally have to realize that you cannot feel guilty. This person will not miss you. You are not doing them any harm. You're not doing your family any harm by leaving them. In fact, you're doing yourself and society a whole world of good by letting them go.